I think being able to be open and vulnerable only helps you grow as well, personal, business, all the things aside. So I've taken that mantra and that approach, and it's gotten me farther than any other approach.
Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by John Jones, President at Scissortail Executive Advisors. John, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely excited to dive into it and appreciate you having me on.
Great. What do you do and why do you do it?
I'm president of Scissortail Executive Advisors. We help guide companies through benefits plans, retirement plans, executive compensation. What started for me was on the retirement side. And I think the reason why I do it is actually my grandmother. I watched her work for 45 years for the same company. And then after that, she had nothing for retirement, nothing in savings. Had to move in with my parents, and I saw what that did on all sides of the equation. So I guess early on as a fifth or sixth grader, I was interested in 401k plans. Didn't really know what the terminology was back then, but that's definitely how I got into it and my why right now.
Oh, were you also wearing a suit and you were just like telling people about 401ks in fifth grade?
I was actually more in the street clothes running around at recess thinking I was Kobe Bryant, but in the back of my mind, I think I had an itch for helping people.
Nice. That'll be your next career.
I hope so.
Tell us a little bit more about what led you to becoming a founder. I know we started with your real personal mission and interest. What else happened throughout your career that led you to where you are today?
Yeah, I think the founder journey started early, whether it was a lemonade stand in second or third grade with some of my neighbors, or having a lawn company in high school for a way to pay for gas money and some Brahms. Shout out if anybody knows Oklahoma, the Brahms love. After college, I took the pretty standard financial route and went and worked with Merrill Lynch, and then moved over to a privately held insurance firm. And I always had this knack to start something of my own when it came in the corporate world. The dominoes aligned, and about 2.5 years ago is when Scissortail was founded.
And so, who are your customers at Scissortail?
So we are coast to coast, even though we are located in Oklahoma. We work with a whole array of different industries, but we work with a ton of family owned businesses. That's where education is so key for us on both benefits side of things and 401k side of things. We've found a niche in that area is working with family owned businesses and also early stage companies as they're scaling. They have a ton of needs on the benefit side and 401k and how to attract and retain top talent that early, especially when you're getting funded and have some private seed funding. You got to be careful with that money and how you use it. So I would say we work with quite a few different industries and different companies, but those two areas are two areas that we've definitely solidified ourselves in.
And are there any common education points that you feel you're saying to a lot of different companies that maybe needs to be a little bit broader of a topic in financial literacy?
Yeah, I think I'll start with the 401k side on that. What we've learned very quickly is the employer can even tell the employees, hey, you should save for retirement, you should do this, you should do that. But if the employees don't trust where their money's going, they're not going to put it somewhere. So I think it's understanding that level of training and education from the 401k side of, hey, here's where the money is and here's where it can get to if you are saving. We look at retirement as three-legged stool. You'll have your retirement, personal savings, and social security. And the thing about it was is social security was never meant to be just that one stream of income at retirement. So I think that's a huge education piece. What we've learned with these companies too is nobody's going to sell this plan better than the employees themselves. Employees definitely talk in the break rooms, they talk on the shop floor. The older employees in the plans can be your biggest advocates, especially
Oh,
if they've seen what their money can do over time for those younger employees. So I think that's one key on the education side for 401ks. Benefits are a little bit different. Obviously, working with the employees on, depending on where you're at, we have a lot of rural clients. So making sure that their doctor, their dentist, all are in network is huge. But right now, from the employer side, healthcare costs are just rising. It's a tough conversation each year. There's definitely areas that you can improve plans and some levers that you can pull to lower those costs. There's some new things that are out there in the marketplace, but it's really just educating the employers on, hey, here's your options, here's some plan design options. Can we do these while still keeping the employees happy? I think that's a big balance right now that's tough in the industry.
And are there any trends that you see in the financial industries that are shifting business done as usual or that you're excited about?
Yeah, I think the easy one is AI. It'll be very interesting on how AI, I mean, it already has works itself into the financial industry. For the last 8 years, all we've heard in the financial industry is how robo advisors are going to take over the industry. No one's ever going to want to meet with a person. Everyone's ever going to want to connect over Zoom or get coffee. And I'm just a big advocate as that's not true. I think people are always going to have that need. And I think as AI grows, people are going to be searching for that connection, a real authentic connection more and more. So we're actually excited on where we stand on that and the grounds that we have on personal connection and building out true relationships. I think so many people are worried about AI, but I think not everyone's thinking about the benefits it could lead to from a personal connection standpoint and having that authenticity. I think that's how we view it right now. And keeping up with the trends, of course, is important. You don't want to get left behind in that. And if there's certain ways we can bring in AI to our business on either the benefits or the 401k side in order, that's going to further bring value for our clients. We're absolutely going to look at it, but we never want to lose our true self and our identity in AI.
It's interesting to hear that because I do agree with you. Developing AI, of course, is extremely challenging and nuanced, but putting it into place, the whole point of AI is to make life easier. The challenge is going to be companies who don't get bogged down in how great their technology is, but are just using it as a way to support their people-centric, awesome, talented, experienced employees.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something that's going to be quite the shift to watch and how corporations manage those expectations in certain fields. AI is going to be the predominant user, and they're going to have a ton of AI agents, and every actual employee works there is just going to run off AI. But I think there's certain industries that are going to one lag behind that, but also lag behind that on purpose. I think it's going to be very interesting and fun to watch over the next 5 to 10 years.
And what metrics are you focused on improving in addition to keeping your customers happy?
Yeah. The number one goal we look at is retention. And the reason behind that is because we built out very intentionally our education, our touch points. We know if we have retention of current clients that we're doing something right. Obviously, you've got to bring in new sales or you're going to stay stagnant. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So that is incredibly important. But we put such a standard on how we pay our employees, bonuses, equity on retention. That's our number one goal when looking at our business.
That's beautiful. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the things when we're either hiring or somebody first comes on, one of the first ideas that we bring to them is about retention. In each role that we have, whether you're a director, you're a lead sales rep, your account executive, it's built around retention and keeping clients happy. We always say our goal is to bring joy to our clients. And if we have the right systems in place with touch points, not just going out there once a year for an annual renewal, but actually being proactive.
And what are your goals the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, I think one of our big BHAG goals is we want to double revenue in 12 months. I'm a big believer that every company, everybody in a company has potential, but I don't think we like to look at necessarily just potential. We like to look at our floor as well. And we know that if our floor continues to rise with how we take care of clients, with how we onboard new employees, how we take care of our employees, what we believe in as a company, as that continues to rise, we're going to be able to scale how we want to scale. And so I think that's probably our big 12-month goal that I just presented to our employees on 7/1. Got some interesting reactions like he's lost his mind, but it's one of those where everyone gets excited. I'm a big believer in goals. I think it is a North Star for employers and employees on what they're fighting for and where they're trying to get to. Sometimes you wear a lot of hats and it can be the Wild West. I've done a couple things that I never thought I would be doing as a founder. I finally have outsourced all that this year, but you have to learn other items outside of your main role really quickly. I've had to jump into more benefits discussions where at first I was uncomfortable doing that, but you've got to get uncomfortable, become comfortable again. And it's like I said, always raising that floor.
If you had a magic wand, what would be an obstacle or a challenge or something that you could fix today to make those goals be realized?
Instead of every employer getting a 10 to 20% increase on their benefits, getting a 10 to 20% decrease, that would probably be it. I think we'd have more clients than we could handle at that point. But I think that's what's great about owning a business and being able to do this is you can control your own destiny and some of those things. There's some items that you cannot control. And one of the things that we preach is, hey, I think probably all of our parents have said it to us at one point, or a grandmother is control what you can control. And one of the things that we've had to let go of as a company and myself personally is getting worked up over things that we can't control. If we focus really hard and have better solutions and better processes on the things that we can control than any other company in our space, then everything's going to take care of itself.
Have you noticed that after speaking with potential customers, how much do people value just the person that they're doing business with? Do people talk about that?
Yeah, I think they definitely do. And I think one of our biggest honors that we can get is when a current client refers us into another prospect or a client. One that lets us know we're doing our job when we are going through a finals presentation or working with a prospect. And I reach out to the CFO of one of our clients saying, hey, do you mind if I put you down as a referral? And they immediately shoot back, yes, please do. That brings such joy to us because it lets us know that we're doing what we need to be doing. There's certain people in our industry that give it a bad rap. And I think it's because they get the client, they're pretty lazy. They come out at renewal or annual review on the 401k side, and they might do some things on the investment or some things on the plan. And that's what a lot of companies are used to. So I don't think they realize, I think brokers are a commodity until proven differently, until you have a really broker that brings a ton of value. And that's our goal every day.
Beautiful. And then what is the story behind the Scissortail name?
Yeah. The easy answer it is the state bird for Oklahoma. But when I was doing some business planning on Scissortail before Scissortail was a thing, I was so keen on getting the perfect name and doing this. And I went out one day for a run and then just stopped by a lake to just gather my thoughts and more probably gather my breath. And these two scissor tails just flew right across and basically poached up on a tree next to me. And I was like, Scissortail will be in the name. And then the executive advisors followed.
Yeah. When I saw Scissortail pop up on my calendar this week, it was the first thing my eye went to, and I knew exactly who you were. I just love that name.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that.
And where can people find out more information if they want to learn more about Scissortails or get in contact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the easiest ways are our website, scissortailea.com. Hopefully you'll post a link to my LinkedIn because my name is John Jones. There's probably 200,000 of me on LinkedIn. Happy to have any discussions with anybody. I'm a pretty open book. I love connecting with people. It's something that definitely brings me joy. Or my email, which you're fine to post as well, which I'll give you. And so any of those ways, happy to connect and help where I can. Yeah, it's been interesting. I used to be somebody who was, I don't know if tough conversations is the right word, but I was always the jokester and would make jokes about stuff and never really had the direct conversations. But now with some things that have happened and me personally on some values I've changed, like I just love having direct conversations that make people be vulnerable if they want to.
I'd love to hear just a little bit more about that.
Go ahead.
Where did you see that manifest?
I think with some personal things that like I went through in my life, I'm somebody who's big in my faith. So I think when you get more open in that too, you realize that there's some better routes. And I think being able to be open and vulnerable only helps you grow as well, personal, business, all the things aside. So I've taken that mantra and that approach, and it's gotten me farther than any other approach.
My sister is clergy, actually. We're Jewish though.
Okay.
We grew up going to church with my friend. We grew up in a very like non-Jewish area, so I would go to church events and I find a lot of safety in like religion, in spirituality, and especially these days. So I just
Yeah.
love hearing when people are guided by their faith in their business as well.
Yeah, I think it goes back to that control thing. There's so many things in life that you can't control. I could walk out and get hit by a bus. Like, I know that's dramatic, but it's true. And
Yeah.
so I think, and same thing in business, there's so many highs and lows. You have to be grounded in something that's bigger than you. And like for
Mm.
me, that's faith. We are building out right now just for Oklahoma an association plan for churches. So you have so many of these in Oklahoma. There's more churches than gas stations. Like every corner has a church, but so many of those churches have 3 employees, 6 employees, 9 employees. So, they're going out and getting these health insurance plans that are just single operated plans, so really expensive.
Yeah.
So we've negotiated a deal with a carrier out of Oklahoma that'll actually allow us to go get a 2 life group and give them group plan pricing, because now we're scaling all these churches. So yeah, we're rolling that out here in the next month. So it's been really cool and excited.
That's one of the biggest challenges. Access to healthcare and that expense is insane. That's so cool. Well, thanks so much for being here today. It's been such a pleasure. I just love when we can have guests who as business owners, as founders, can be really honest, authentic, and in turn, really helpful to other business owners.
I appreciate it, Tracy.